Hello, welcome to our lecture on project management. So this time we are now going to discuss the planning process group. Okay, so last time we discussed the PMBOK processes, which starts from initiating and then planning, executing and controlling, and then closing. So let's have a very quick review. So for the initiating process group, so this is where everything gets started. Okay? And the very final product that we wait as we start this initiating process is what we call the project charter and stakeholder register. So to get this, this is the time where we get our documents, initial information. It's also where we negotiate or where we discuss things with our sponsors and some of the key people about this project, right? So it is where we identify our business case, and from there we determine the objectives and the initial thoughts about the plan. Okay, so after we have done this, after we close this process, we now become ready for the project management plan. Okay, so that is the next step in our project integration management process, right? Which is one of the key knowledge area in project management. In short, okay, it is now our time to plan. And in planning, what do we have in planning, right? So project planning is actually at the heart of the project life cycle. Okay, so ito yung pinaka-puso. This is where we get things done. This is from the time we get the approval, the time we get the go signal to start the project, then this is where we document things which later on will be our guide or our manual as we execute the project. Okay, so in here we can say that this is the time where we really spend really a lot of our efforts, okay, so that later on we can make sure na sigurado ang ating pag-execute ng ating mga plano. So in here then we can consider na this is the most challenging phase for a project manager dahil nga this is the time where the project manager and the people involved will have to brainstorm on many things, okay, document things properly, get approval, etc. Right? So what are the basic processes that are involved in a plan? So first, we have the scope management. So in making the plan, we do the planning in or about the scope of the project that we're gonna do. Okay, so kailangan alam natin yung mga limitations. Ano lang ba yung gagawin? Up to what point? What are the inclusions? What are the exclusions? So because from there, okay, doon natin sasalain yung ating mga gagawing plano. Dito natin i-base ano yung mga kailangan nating isama at hindi isama as we develop our plan. And then also, this is where we do our schedule management, right? So scheduling. When are we going to do things? Okay, so we assign timeline. We assign specific periods of time like dates, target dates on every activity that we need to accomplish. So this is where we answer the question when in our plan. Another thing is that in planning, this is where we allocate our resources or plan our resources. So when we say resources, that involves people, okay, human resources, as well as the, let's say, equipments, supplies, tools, yan, the materials that we're gonna need. So this is where we plan things out, so that later on, as we execute our plan, prepared na ang ating mga gagamitin. Hindi yung pagdandyan na, yung plano, yung execution ng plano, saka pa lang tayo mangangapa, sino yung mga tatawagin nating tao, saan natin kukunin ito, etc. and etc. Okay, so we do resource management in our project planning. One more thing is costing, right? Budgeting. So, hindi pwede sa isang project ay walang ma-involve na pera. Okay? So, kahit pa sabihin yan ay maliban sigurong you are doing charity, diba? Kaya lang kahit charity kasi, definitely mag-involve ng pera yan. Right? Yung mga pamasahe, transportation, yan. Tapos yung mga gagastusin mo for your charity activities. So, siguro pag personal, posible pa. Pero depende. Ano bang klaseng plano yan? Ano bang klaseng project yan? When we say project kasi, meron at meron kang gagastusin. Okay? May involve kang cost. So, in there, okay, we have to budget whatever resource we have right now when it comes or in terms of money. Okay? Ano yung actual, okay, na sitwasyon ngayon economically. Okay, we have to consider that. And then, ano lang ba yung kaya natin? Ano lang yung available resources or yung available funding? So, we compare that or we plan that out so that later on, hindi tayo mag-e-exceed ng magagastos. Yung walang abonuhan. Okay? Or kung sakali mang kinailangan ng ganun, kailangan meron tayong maayos na plano on how we're going to get our financial resources. Right? So, very important ang budgeting or cost planning. Okay? So, one more thing or one more process that is involved in planning is what we call procurement management. So, when we say procurement, it involves the processes with our suppliers, vendors, contractors. So, those people, because nga halimbawa, kung mayroon tayong kailangan, let's say na mga materials, at saka yung mga kailangan, let's say, nating i-produce, okay, so definitely, we'll have to deal with external people. These people that will provide us our needs. So, we need to plan them out. Sino ang kakausapin natin? Kanino tayo kukuha? Okay? Tapos, yung process, yung negotiation, yung agreements, payment terms, right? So, in here, we have to plan how we're going also to document yung mga agreements na yon at yung mga processes that we expect to happen. Okay? So, that is procurement management. And then, of course, in a project, we discuss na merong mga unforeseen events. So, we have to plan them. Okay? So, we have to do something about them in advance. So, hindi syempre natin kita, wala tayong idea, pero somehow, okay, based on experiences, based on information around us, somehow we can possibly think kung ano yung mga possible errors na mangyari in the future. Okay? By having or by providing plans regarding risk, in here, we can make alternative solutions, diba? Or alternative actions. So, if something happens in the future as we execute our plan, meron na tayong nakahanda. And in risk management, so, kailangan malinaw yung mga situation. Okay? Mga possible situation ang mangyari and then yung mga course of actions natin na inaasahang gawin. So, yun yung risk management. We also consider here yung, let's say, probability ng event. Okay? Gaano kalaki yung possibility mangyari yan. So that we can incorporate every possible factor in our plan. So, this is one important process din sa ating project management. And if we are not prepared, or if the project manager is not prepared about this, then marami dito or malaki yung possibility na pag dumating yung mga unforeseen events na yun, ay mag-fail yung ating project. Okay, so risk management is one of the major processes in planning, okay, sa ating project. And then, of course, we also have quality management. Okay, kasi nga, we need to ensure quality of our deliverable. So that we can, for us to deliver quality deliverable, we also have to ensure quality processes. Okay? So, kailangan aprobado. Yan. So, kasama yan. Ano yung mga standards? Yan. Sinasama din natin yon para alam natin ano yung nagiging basihan natin later on para masabing, okay, we can move on to the next step, or this is already okay, we can already move to the next activity or product or whatsoever that is related to whatever we have done. Okay? So, quality. And then later on, ito din kasi yung magsasabi, okay? Major na magsasabi if our customer is satisfied. And we know, okay, we discussed that in project management, the reason why we're doing this is to ensure that our customer is satisfied. Okay? And then, lastly is communication. Okay? Communication is very vital in every success of any project. Right? So, paano tayo magko-communicate with all the stakeholders? So, we have to plan them. We have to write them down. Para later on, we know who to reach, diba? How to reach them. Okay? So, kailangan ba personal yung pakipag-usap or by technology? So, there are a lot of things na kailangang i-cover natin dito. So, all of these processes ay i-discuss natin in more details one by one. Okay? As we go along and as we move on with this topic or with this lesson. So, for now, this is our initial or introduction about planning process group. So, for us to ensure, okay, na masusunod or magiging maayos yung ating paggawa ng plano, so, we have to remember that our objective should be smart. Okay? So, sa initiating process pa lang, dinedefine na natin yung ating objective ng project. Okay? But, as we start with the planning process, nire-refine natin yun. Okay? Ano yung mismo na pag-usapan doon? So, i-refine natin siya, mas kaklaruhin natin siya sa ating pagpaplano. Kasi nga, yun yung magiging reference ng lahat-lahat ng ating paplanuhin. Okay? So, parang pag gumagawa ka lang ng SMART goal, diba? Ng goal. So, yung pinaka-objective natin sa project, that is our goal. And, our objective should be SMART. Okay? So, yung SMART, it refers to being specific. Okay? Dapat may clarity, malinaw, measurable. Okay? So, na-measure natin. Meron tayong quantitative measurement. Kailan ba ito okay? Ano yung mga parameters natin? And also, it should be acceptable. Ang alam natin dito, pag yung SMART goal, usually, we have defined it as achievable. Pero pagdating sa project management, what is important is, kasi meron na tayong realistic. Okay? So, meaning, sakop na doon yung achievable. So, sa project management, what the other thing, or the one important thing that we consider, is that whatever we do, that should be acceptable to our stakeholders. Okay? So, yung mga plano natin, yung mga gagawin natin, so dapat acceptable siya sa ating stakeholders para acceptable din yung ating magiging final result. Right? So, specific, measurable, acceptable, and then realistic. Okay? Yun nga, doon papasok yung achievable. Well, possible na hindi siya maging achievable, pero at least, kasi nga, di ba, may mga pwedeng mangyari. Okay? And we're actually talking about project here, and this is the reason why we're actually doing management. So, realistic, at the very least dapat yung ating gagawin. When we say realistic, hindi naman yung parang, 'di ba, yung imposible na by nature, imposible by yung mga ganon. So, everything that we're gonna do is something na we know can be done. Okay? So, kailangan lang siya ng konting effort, etc. para talagang maging achievable. Yan. And then, lastly is timely or time-bound sa madaling salita. So, meron nga tayong due date kasi. So, kaya nagta-time management tayo, nag-scheduling tayo so that we will meet the deadline given to us for the project. And the time that we have in total should be properly allocated. Okay? So, kaya yung ating objective, baka naman kasi mamaya, nagpapagawa ka ng napakalaking project, 'di ba? Yung ating kliyente, nagpapagawa ng malaking project. Tapos, ang unti-unti lang nang binigay sa ating oras. So, that's why, yung pagsiset ng objectives ay dapat mayroong maayos na time period. Okay? And yun din kasi yung ating isang gagamitin nga as we do our scheduling. Okay? So, this is our introduction on the planning process group. So, every process that is involved in planning, we're going to discuss them one by one. So, check on the next videos and discussion that we're gonna have about this one. Okay, so God bless everybody. Since we're talking about planning, so let me share this again to you. Another Bible verse from Proverbs chapter 16 verse 3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do and your plans will succeed. So, sa buhay natin ay lagi tayong nagpaplano. Kahit yan, nagpa-project management tayo, 'di ba? So, just commit to the Lord whatever we do and we will have a successful plan. Okay? So, God bless and see you sa ating next discussion.